Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to White Day, a labyrinth named school. Previously, we completed the ghost encounters towards the ghost collection, and we scoured the new building for all the miscellaneous items and whatnot that were available to us, including, a good chunk of ghost stories. And to kind of end this chase off, we're going to have to backtrack to main buildings 1 and 2 and kind of not redo, but do some more puzzles in new building to kind of finish everything off. So we are going to be heading back towards the workshop at the very start of the game, which is right next to the old home economics room. So let's get to it. Okay, so now we have the bell charm, which means that the fox spirit should not be able to get in our way, and we can get back to main building 2. Remember, of course, that the hallway does protect us from the janitor. He cannot come down here. In fact, he can't even see you if you're in the hallway standing right in front of his face, which is really nice. However, he does, if I'm recalling correctly, maintain where he last was loaded at, so just be aware of that. If he was chasing you for whatever reason, he's going to still be chasing you. um, yeah, see? You can hear him running. I don't know where he is. He must be stuck on something. I'm just going to take advantage of that. So we're actually heading back to main building 1 to start. That's going to get us access to a whole lot of things, and then we'll come back this way. First things first, I don't know where he is. I don't think he's on this floor. I think he's above us, but if he's been, like, respawned somewhere, I don't know. Uh-oh. I heard a door. He must... That's going to serve me well right now. Let's take advantage of that. I think he's upstairs checking rooms, and I open up all the doors. So... And he went the one direction that I wanted him to. Now, if you recall this little baby, there are 4 colored keys we can get. We're going to get some puzzle items using this, and I think possibly a ghost story or 2. I think 2 puzzle items, actually. The first thing we want to do is take the yellow key and combine it with the red key. And this is so slow. Combined key, Red+Yellow. It looks like it can open a small lock. And we're looking for classroom 2-2. And then we're essentially trying to open these boxes. So, I think we go down this way. 4. So, okay, classroom 2-2. Uh-oh. 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 Is this the one? I'm gonna need to run, I think. We'll get back to this, alright? Yeah, we'll get back to this. Let's get him upstairs. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got a ghost coming. We'll just camp out here for a bit. Hopefully he'll go down the hallway. Wait for it. Can you hear it? This might be like a war of attrition with him on these boxes. So what I might have to end up doing is go back and reopen all the doors on the second floor just to distract him up here, and really hope he stays up here. It'll make getting through the area so much easier. He's already... Let's screw with him. How far is he coming? Dude, why'd you come right here? You didn't know I was here. You had no idea I was here. Don't even start that. Oh, wait. Maybe this is the room he actually heard me in. I want to get him going down this way, but... I just ran. Okay. Alright, classroom 2-2. Box for counseling. Like I said, I think 2-2 was the one down at the end of the hallway before I was so rudely interrupted. 2-5 is also one of them that we need. Oh, this is the one, right? Yep. Morse code chart. A chart showing how to represent numbers in Morse code. So from there, that's going to be a puzzle, a link to a puzzle for one of the ghost stories. Just want to go to the workshop again. decouple the key. This time we're going to do the red key and the blue key. And we essentially want to go to the box for room 25, I think it is. The one that I just pointed out. Which I think might be this one. Yep. Small key, dark. A small key painted dark. It looks like it could be combined with other keys. Okay. Of course, that gets us our last of the 4 keys. Okay, decombine. And we want to combine the dark key with the yellow. For this one, I think we're actually looking right here. Okay, so ghost story. Something worth actually, you know, plain worth getting right as we get it. The Wailing from the art room. So-hyun had a crush on the new art teacher at Y High School. The art teacher was young and talented, and So-hyun wasn't the only girl who fell for him. Desperate to become his favorite student, she gave her all in her art class. She had always been gifted with her hands since she was a child, and soon she did become his star pupil. Seeing So-hyun's talent, the art teacher advised her to apply for an art college. So-hyun accepted his advice and began to take private lessons with him. This was a dream come true for her, to be left alone in school with her crush, spending hours together practicing art. At some point, a strange rumor started circulating through the school. The rumor was that there was a teacher dating a student. The rumor made its way into the ear of the school administration, and soon the young art teacher left without warning, as if he was banished from the school. The rumor was never confirmed. In the middle of the night, with her favorite teacher gone, So-hyun sat alone in the art room. The faint moonlight through the window rested on her shaking shoulders. She was crying mournfully. In her hands, she held an unfinished clay doll of a woman. Great care had been taken in forming the clay doll's face, and it looked just like So-hyun. With her eyes full of resentment, she stared at the doll. The next day, the whole school was in shock. The dead body of a female student had been found. It was revealed that the girl had killed herself by overdosing on sleeping pills. Even more shocking, however, was that the dead girl was found to be pregnant. The school tried to prevent students from spreading unconfirmed rumors about this accident, but soon the whole school knew, and there were all sorts of theories about the girl and who the father was. A lot of people pointed their finger at the art teacher, but it was never confirmed. After the incident, people began to report that they could hear a baby's cry near the art room. At first, the crying was so faint that people merely thought they were hearing things, but as time went on, it became so loud that the vibrations felt like an earthquake. A baby's ghost, with its umbilical cord wrapped tightly around its neck, was also reported as appearing. Even to this day, they say you can see a baby's ghost in search of something during shadowy moonlit nights. It is imperative you must remember not to follow it, for should you fail to find what the baby wants, it might drag you down into the deep darkness instead. Into the dark down, deep dark down. So, I do believe that was one of the rumors. This one. I think this might be the same link to the story, if I'm not mistaken. February 26th. So again, this is the ownerless diary. I wonder if I got fat during winter. I feel all bloated lately. He made fun of me for my weight gain. He didn't make it sound so bad. What I'm really upset about is the fact that he doesn't express his emotion. Blah. March 5th. Everyone's still getting used to the new term, but they all look happy. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Lately, I've been feeling sluggish. I think I didn't get enough exercise during the winter break because this one's pregnant, right? Huh. Yeah. Okay, let's back up here a little bit. We're kind of skipping ahead a bit from the previous part. It's too early to call it spring. I think I'm down with the cold. My body is out of whack. I mean, I'm a senior after all, but still. I talked to him on the phone today. He said something about the duties as a student and whatnot. He meant that we needed to take a break from seeing each other. I feel suddenly scared. I'm scared that I'll never see him again. That line there where it says he said something about the duties as a student and whatnot. March 25th. The midterm schedule is set. Today is our 100th day anniversary. We didn't even get to talk on the phone. I'm sure he's busy, but I desperately need to hear his voice and see his smiling face. I can hardly control my emotions. I keep thinking about killing myself. With a sense of dread, I ran the pregnancy test, so April 4th. Having a new life inside me was scary, but in a way it made me feel better. I'm worried about his reaction. Should I tell him? Maybe he will take more interest in me. But at the time, wouldn't I be a burden to him? April 8th, his reaction was unexpectedly cold and scary. He even threatened that he will never see me again if I didn't lose the baby. It scared me to death, but I will give birth to this baby no matter what. I'm thankful for the new life inside me. I will keep it even if I have to die. I can't stop looking at the cover of the art book. It's a picture of a clay doll of a woman and her baby holding hands. Yeah, so this is linked to that story. I'm not sure if it's the teacher or not. It does sound like it could be, but it doesn't sound like it's like a confirmed. I think there's another one though from the teacher's perspective. Okay, it took me a second to find it, but it was in the rumors list. It was there. Dusty stationery paper. To Jiwon Kim, please forgive me for not saying goodbye in person. I am being forced to leave, all because of a sick rumor. Should you hear a rumor about me, please do not pay any attention to it. It's a story made up by people plotting against me. Once I leave, I'm sure you'll be bored because there will be no one left to entertain your ridiculous theories and ideas. For me, I'll be sad because there will be no one to understand my world of art. To ease the sadness of saying goodbye, I leave you a farewell gift. It's my painting of you holding your first art piece. I think you said you created that piece to hide something important, right? Anyways, I wish you good luck, good health, and good luck in the future. Okay, I think that's connected in a weird way. Because obviously everything in these stories is connected, but the ghost story didn't directly say she was seeing the art teacher. She said something about seeing her crush at night. And I'm kind of wondering if it sounds like it's the art teacher, right? I mean, it plays it off that way. But then when you read her ownerless diary, it's not directly implicating a teacher. But there's wording in there that makes me think, okay, it's making it sound like it could be, but it's also not confirmed. And why would he leave this to Jiwon Kim? I don't. I feel like if I were in this case, I probably wouldn't have left him a note because I don't know. It just seems weird. So I'm kind of wondering if it is just a rumor. Maybe he had nothing to do with the student other than being her art teacher, and then she got pregnant from somebody else. I'm not entirely sure. That's really interesting. So, anyways, that was our ghost story for that one. That was the our third key set. So, okay, one more key. So let's separate these. And we want to combine the dark key with the blue key. And we want to go to gym storage, which is upstairs. Which I have no idea where the janitor is. He's not here. He might be downstairs by now. This one. And there she is, our last paper crane. So I mistakenly thought I had this earlier on in the previous episode, so sorry about that. Alright, we actually have to go back to the first floor because there's another ghost story we have access to. If you recall back to when we were in the principal's office, we got a wooden handle, and we could have gone back here at that point. But I figured we would just do this now. Alright, so ghost story 3 on the list. Boy kills girl. G-Sub, a new transfer student to Y High School, had recently heard a horror story about the school from a classmate. So of course, of all the nights, the night he had had to come back to school to grab something he left was a stormy night. The quiet pouring of the rain reminded him too much of the scary story. Only a few years before, there was a student named Ji-Hai. She was dating a boy named Myung-ho, who shared the same homeroom with her during the first 2 years of school. When they were in their senior year, they were assigned to different homerooms, and Ji-Hai began dating Ho-young, who was in the same homeroom as her. Myung-ho could not accept such a sudden breakup after dating Ji-Hai for 2 years. He tried multiple times to go see her and plead his case, but Ji-Hai completely ignored him. Growing more resentful with each rejection, Myung-ho began to date Ji-Hai. One day, Myung-ho decided to go see Ji-Hai for the last time in her homeroom during lunch break. Ji-Hai, just like all times before, was cold and cruel and ignored his pleas. Enraged, Myung-ho took out the knife he had brought with him. Of course, he wasn't planning on hurting her. He wanted to mend his wounded ego by watching her tremble, seeing her finally acknowledge him. However, Ji-Hai knew him too well. She knew that even though he acted tough, he was just a narrow-minded, scared little boy. Seeing the desperation, seeing the that's I think that's a typo. Seeing that his desperate attempt with the knife made him so repulsive that she became angry at him. She called him names and taunted that he would never have the guts to actually use the knife. Alas, her taunting worked. If Myung-ho, momentarily blinded by rage, swung his knife and stabbed Ji-Hai. Ji-Hai fell to the ground, her blood running across the entire floor. Myung-ho, scared and confused by the scene, went berserk. Due to Myung-ho slashing his knife crazy around him, no one dared go near Ji-Hai. They could only watch from afar as she bled out. Since that day, there is said to have been sightings of a female ghost lying down on the floor as if asleep. Which would be the lying girl, of course. Or the lying female student. Ji-Sub tried to block this story from his mind when he reached the classroom. When he opened the door, though, his efforts were in vain and he tripped. Falling backwards in terror, he saw a girl lying on the ground in the dark, like she was fast asleep. Okay. Well, isn't that lovely? So from here, we want to go to the math room. have the last set of pieces, or should at least, unless I missed one. I'm pretty sure I got them all. Oh no, dude, really? He's gonna keep on doing this to me. I guess we found him. It's actually the last thing we need. Do we sneak around him? No one here. No. What's a suitable distance before I burst out and go down the hallway? We'll probably wait this out for a bit. Wait, did I go to the wrong room? Oh, shoot. I think I'm supposed to be on the upper floor, aren't I? Oh my god. I'm supposed to be in 2-7. I'm in 2-1. No. Okay. Okay. I can fix this. Yeah? Hey, he opened the door. I should have... That would have been my tip-off, right? Oh, shut up, dude. I don't know if he's stuck. No, he's wandering. I think we're good. If you recall, the girl was here before the ghost, and this is her story. An incorrectly solved math problem. Nahai, a junior year student at Y High School, was a top student. Smart and outgoing, she was especially adored by her homeroom teacher. Perhaps that was why she was always full of herself. When the teacher wasn't around, she would act snotty, as if she was better than everyone else in her class. None of her classmates liked her. Everyone avoided her, but Nahai could not care less. Why does it matter what they say or think about me? They're all losers, Nahai thought to herself. Nahai was prideful and had a large ego. Then one cool autumn day, the subject for fifth period was math, the subject that the homeroom teacher taught. It was right after lunch, and with the cool breeze coming in through the window, most students were nodding off during the lesson. To wake the class up, the irritated teacher called a few students to the board to solve some math problems. Nahai was one of the students who was called up. One by one, students returned to their seat after solving their problem. Since the problems were easy, no one got them wrong. Except Nahai. She had read the question wrong and incorrectly solved the problem. This was unheard of, considering her skill in math. In front of the whole class, the teacher rebuked Nahai, saying that it was a stupid mistake. The teacher intended for Nahai to remember the embarrassment and never make the same mistake again, which is a terrible way about teaching. It's a terrible tactic. No one should ever do that. Nahai could not lift her head out of shame. Her face turned bright red. The kids could not stop snickering. The fact that the teacher's pet was being scolded right in front of them was fun and satisfying. When the teacher left at the end of the lesson, all the kids started talking about what had just happened to Nahai. They sounded excited that they finally had something to hold over her. And that's why you don't bully people. And well, I guess in her case, she's not really a bully as much as just an ass. Nahai was angry. She blamed the teacher who embarrassed her in front of the class. She hated her classmates who took it as an opportunity to talk behind her back even more, and she was angry at herself for getting the stupid question wrong. Even when she went home after school, she could not get it out of her mind. She hated her eyes for reading the question wrong. It's not my fault, she decided. She rationalized to herself that the problem was not hers, but her eyes. Soon, a terrible sound was heard, and the workbook on her desk was splattered with red. The next day, Nahai's classmates trembled with fear when it was announced that Nahai had committed suicide by digging her own eyes out with a knife. After this happened, a rumor spread that whenever a math problem is left on the chalkboard, Nahai's ghost is summoned. It is said that the ghost would stare at the problem on the chalkboard, but her eye sockets would be empty holes. That she creeps me out. I think she is such a cool ghost because you'll just be walking down the hall and you just hear her talking to herself in the room. And you go in and if you get close to her, if you go back to when I first encountered her, that's probably episode 2, I think. She just like stops writing and looks over at you. Like you can see her like her like tilting her eyes over towards you, or her lack of eyes, I should say, because they're gone. Oh, she is terrifying. I love that. That's such a cool ghost. Okay, so we are officially done with this building. We are going to make a dash for main building 2, essentially. Reminder, we're on a different floor, though. I think he may have gone the way we're going. We can do a lap around the building, though. Or just follow him, I guess. He's coming, isn't he? Coming or walking away? I think he's downstairs. Recall that if you get when you get caught in the animation for going to the next building, he will catch up to you, or can catch up to you. so we want to go to the nurse's office first. Um, I guess technically we could do the nurse's office second, but we need to do faculty office one. We'll do that first. We can hide in here easier. Can you, thank you. Okay, so we have the lenses, so let's get the code. We have a 4. I'm gonna actually need to write these down. We have a 4. A power button. Upside down. Is that upside down for power? I'll just say upside down power. Uh-oh. Kind of a Y with a underscore below it. And a plane. Okay. And that's the code for the chairman's office. The safe in it. Okay. And here are the photos that we can reorganize. So I'm gonna quickly pull up that image I took from earlier. Okay. So I think this dude is the first one. Oh, slow. The black and white dude's second. Oh, the rest was correct. Okay. So we got another story out of that. The missing children. Junjae. Junji? Junjae. Let's go with Junjae. Or is it, is it Yunjae? Oh no. I'm gonna go with the J, hard J sound, because that's the way it's been going. Go with Junjae. Was heading home really late after a school club activity. He belonged to the Mystery Research Club. They collected and studied all kinds of rumors, myths, and urban legends. The collection was not only from their own school, but from every city around. Lately, he was working on sorting through contents for their sporadically published club magazine. I think we may have read some of this. At a busy time like this, the club's president was nowhere to be seen. Due to his absence, Jun Jae, as vice president, had to do everything himself. That was the reason why he was heading home so late. Still preoccupied with his work, he was thinking about the magazine even while he was crossing the bridge. The bridge is kind of a key here. Where have we run across ghosts on bridges? Just then, somebody spoke to him. "Hello, dearie. I'd like to ask you something." It was a kind and warm-looking grandma who approached. Her Qingyang hairstyle, am I saying that right, Qingyang? And her bent back reminded Junjae of his own grandma out in the countryside. I gotta be pronouncing that wrong, right? I'm sorry. Right before he was going to answer her, he suddenly paused and wondered. Why was this old lady at school at this late hour? In that moment, he recalled a ghost story that he had investigated a while back. The building of White High School was erected in the occupation era and was used as a refugee camp during the Korean War. In the refugee camp, there were lots of orphans who had lost their parents in the midst of war. Since the situation was so grim, no one really had the luxury of worrying about these kids. Then some grandma took these orphans under her wing and took care of them. The kids depended on her and got along with her well. The people didn't suspect anything of this grandma. Then one day, the grandma and the orphans suddenly disappeared. The refugees thought it was strange, but as they had previously agreed, they kept silent about it. It was a time where such things happened. A short while after that, a woman came to the camp. She was the mother of one of the orphans. The woman went through so much to find the whereabouts of her child, and was finally here to reunite with them. When she heard of the disappearance of her child, she wailed with despair. The refugees, who felt a little guilty about not having done anything about the disappearance of the orphans, were finally moved to action by the woman's heart-wrenching cries. Led by a former hunter, a few refugees decided to help the woman and search for the missing orphans. They followed the trail of the children up to into the mountain. It's always the mountain, the pond, or something like that, right? When they got halfway up, they found an old rundown hut. They were greeted with the rotting stench of corpses inside the hut, and found the hut was full of small white bones, which seemed relatively fresh. It was said that they never found the old grandma. Junjay couldn't figure out why he had suddenly remembered that ghost story. Feeling spooked, he kept his mouth shut. Maybe it was the old traditional dress that the grandma was wearing. The old grandma, who was pressing on Junjay with her questions, slowly revealed herself, and her face was twisted, turned into the face of a demon's. From her dark and empty eye sockets, red light gleamed. She mumbled as she smacked her lips. So close. What a pity. The next thing he knew, he was waking up at his desk. He must have fallen asleep while sorting out the materials. Still, it seemed all too real to be just a dream. On the paper in front of him, there was a warning from the material he was reading right before he fell asleep. Never answer her questions. It's not often that we run across stories where the people survive. In this case, I would say that's probably why we didn't get killed either, because we didn't say anything to the old woman. Okay, so that's new story, and we got a code. What else do we got? So we got to go to Faculty Office 2 and the Music Supplies Room, which should be... Yeah, so we got to go to floor 2 for the Faculty Office, and floor 3 for the Music Supply Room. The Music Supply Room is kind of a pain. That one is a little tricky. Faculty Office 2. I think we actually need to go to a couple rooms for that one. I don't know where the janitor is, so... He was trapped here earlier. Oh, he's here. Let's go upstairs first. We'll do the music supply room. I think that is a separate affair. Okay, this is actually kind of tricky, and my recommendation is to take a video of this before leaving. I'm gonna close that. So, we have the metronome here. This was in a document. It mentioned an upside-down clock pendulum, and we have the Morse code chart, and we're going to use this to get a passcode. If you go back to New Building, I think the passcode for this was in the music appreciation room. There's a lockbox. That's what this code goes to. So I'm actually going to record this while I'm doing it, so bear with me, because I don't want to have to come back here. And so I'm going to run the recording. I think I can do this in one hit, but... First click to start. Long, 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 that should be 3. Which gives us a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which gives us literally a 5. 1 long one, and then 4 short. 1, 2, 3, 4 to give us a 6. 3 long ones, 2 short to give us an 8. I think that's it. And then 2 short. And then back, okay. So the code looks like the code stayed the same. It's 2, 5, 6, 8. Because if you get them off track a little bit by counting the first one, you'll notice that it's not aligning with the numbers quite the way it needs to. So I think I did that right. 2 short, 3 long for number 2 on the first one. 5 short on the second, which is 5. 1 long, 4 short on the third, which is 6. And then 3 long, 2 short on the last one, which is an 8. I have my recording if I screwed that up for some reason, but I think that's right. And I'll put that in the description as well for the puzzle solution. Let me get back to where I was in my notes. There's something, I feel like something's missing. No, I think I got it. Never mind. Okay. So we need to get to faculty office 2 then. Like I said, the janitor was kind of in our way, but he's going to either patrol here first, one of those two, here or first floor. Where are you? I think he's coming up. If you already explored the first floor, then he might be going up to 4. I saw the light go by. I don't want him to hear me. Okay, I think we're good. We're cutting it close probably, but I think we need to get to the student department office as well. Um, just be ready to duck. Okay, so we've been collecting those typewriter keys for a bit, and we're going to deposit them here. This is kind of a strange puzzle. So before we pick this up, let me refer you back to, it's either rumor or note. Actually, it might even be a school document. Um, um, is it not in here? No, here it is. Okay. Truth Finder. The dying message one. So this talks about dying messages. Dying messages in mystery novels in the real world. I think, based on what this is going to get us, that it's following dying message in the real world. As mentioned earlier, dying messages lack practicality and they're something used in novels. But if one can look at it from a different angle, you could say that the diary or the notes left by the terminally ill or someone who committed suicide falls into categories of dying messages. It's either that one or it's one of these bottom ones. It's a puzzle in this case for what we're doing. Like its long history, Yondu High School has had a long list of rumors and accidents and strange happenings. Among these rumors, there are those about dying messages of the teachers and students who killed themselves. Yeah, here we go. According to the rumor, in the days when the school used to have dorms, a house mother killed herself and left a dying message. That dying message is supposedly hidden somewhere in the school. Apparently, the message has a passcode that can unlock the key box in the student department office, which is right next door, and that's what I said we need to go in there too. Since no one has ever seen this dying message, it cannot be confirmed. And here it is. Dying message. Nobody recognizes me. How much I care and love my students. I only meant for the kids to grow up grow up good and polite, but they only complain how harsh I am without thinking about how I feel. But I can endure this. Someday the students will see me differently. Yes, that has to happen. There was a junior year kid who died while sneaking out of the dorm from my watch. Am I so terrifying that the kids would take such an extraordinary route? It's not like I am raising them. Lately, I've been doubting myself, slowly convincing that maybe I am in the wrong. Where did it begin to go wrong? I just heard the rumors today. It was about the the kid who recently died. The rumor said maybe I killed the kid myself. I was so bewildered and angry that I could not say anything. Something snapped inside me. My true intention was never to make its way to them. Oh, sorry, my true intention will never make its way to them. You'll probably notice something's off about this message, right? I am sick of everything. The quieter I get, the louder they buzz. The swarm of disgusting flies. They keep buzzing in my ear. No one is going to save me but myself. I gain nothing from holding back. I cannot hold it anymore. Today I will make an example out of someone. They will never be noisy again. This is war. A war that will not end until one of us is gone. Have you noticed why I'm stumbling over the over the phrasing? Notice the randomly capitalized F in sentence 2, followed by an O, a U, and an R. which spells out 4. So I'm going to write this down again as well. I don't think this changes, but we have 4. S. Let's see. SIX6. F. I see a VE, so that's got to be a 5. And I want to say a 7 is somewhere in here. Maybe not. I'm probably thinking of the 5. TR. I'm missing something. TH. Is that THR? I'm missing something there. Oh, 3, right? Yeah, okay, THREE. Okay, 3. Why am I thinking 10? I wonder if this one is random. Well, at least you know to get it now. So, oh, and by the way, T is in the first paragraph on disgusting. R in anymore from the second one. Next line on after that is got the E in someone and then the E in one at the end. From there, we want to go here. Make sure he's not on me. He'll be quiet for a while, depending on how far away he is. Four, 6, 5, 3. And small master key. Small master key, a small master key. It looks like you can open drawers and other objects. This is really interesting because you can literally open anything you were locked out of before using this. And for some reason, there's like absolutely nothing in any of these like drawers or anything, as far as I have ever heard or found myself. I thought it might be interesting at one point to like go through the entire building and like just literally unlock everything and see if people are just not commenting on it because it's not important or doesn't seem important. And this is actually the story that directly related to the dying message and the ghost in reference, ghost of a house parent. I can't remember what her formal name is, but I think it's referred to as the house mistress, the house mother, what have you. She's the one that's in the bathroom that when you're in fact I think it's on the floor above us. If you stand in the mirror in the men's bathroom, she opens the stall and she's snapping some scissors, and then when you try to leave the bathroom, she actually sticks you with them and hurts you pretty bad. So that would be episode 4, I think, when we found her. At the time of its establishment, Y High School was in the middle of nowhere at the base of a mountain with hardly any human traffic. Due to this reason, Y High School had dormitories for the students. In the female dorm, there was a notorious house mother, Miss C, whom everyone was afraid of. Coming from a good family background, she demanded that the students behaved and followed rules. At all times, sorry. She would give harsh punishments for any violation of the rules, and this caused many students to complain about her. It was a little after the midterm when a junior fell out a third-floor window and died. She was trying to sneak out of the dorms while evading the house mother's watch to go out and celebrate the end of the midterms. Sorry. But for some reason, the rumors spread that the girl committed suicide because of Miss C, or even worse, that Miss C had killed that girl herself. Hence the dying message. Miss C was in a great shock, and for a while she just stayed silent, as if her spirit was broken. The students were happy about this change and secretly kept an eye on Miss C to see if she would return to her old self. Then came the incident that riled up all the students. Miss C was doing her rounds and found a student whose hair was longer than regulation. Miss C took the student to the bathroom and cut the girl's hair. But when that happened, the student and all her friends surrounded Miss C and protested against her harsh punishment and strict rules. At first, it was only a few students who spoke up. Then, one by one, they were joined by other angry voices opposing Miss C, and soon enough, every student in the female dorm started protesting against her. Anywhere Miss C looked, an angry glare met her gaze. Finally, Miss C broke under all the pressure and her own pent-up emotions, and she ran out of the dorm screaming like a madwoman. None of the students cared. No one went after her trying to calm her down. In the end, Miss C's body was found on a nearby mountain a few days after she went missing. Like I said, it's always in the pond or the mountains. Since then, people started reporting that they've seen the ghost of Miss C. The rumor spread quickly, and the girls in the dormitory suffered from insomnia and fear. Eventually, the dorm had to be shut down. Even so, there are still sporadic reports of sightings of Miss C's ghost. And like I said, that's the one in the bathroom not far from us. So she's quite scary, too. Her presentation, man, I tell you, it really kind of throws you off. All right, I think that we are good as far as this building goes. I think we just need to head back to new building and kind of get the final ghost stories, essentially, which I think there are 3 left. Are you kidding me? I guess we still have to counter her 30 times, so we might as well let this go. Oh, are you kidding me? That's such bad timing. Not when I'm winded. I was just thinking we could just run for the door because he's not going to be able to follow us. But I'm going to win quicker with her catching me. Oh wait. I went down. I should have stayed there. I'm sorry. We were on the right floor to begin with. So like I said, if he is chasing you, he won't cross this threshold. He'll stay right here, and he won't even see you once you cross over it. So wait for him to walk away. He will shut doors and stuff, of course, but like, unless you're like right here, he's not gonna see you, and he can't cross it anyway. So you'll lose him pretty quick. Now, the only reason you actually need to backtrack is if you're collecting ghost stories, or doing, other kind of random stuff. You don't need to worry about that with like endings and such. Which, getting the ending collection, that's the biggest trick in this game. So. Okay, so there are 3 rooms that we need to go to complete the ghost collection that have the puzzles. So there is the history room downstairs with the paper cranes. There's the music appreciation room with the lockbox. And then there's the chairman's office. And so, let's see. Let's do the history one. it's right here. So remember, we have to form a square around the central point. Number 8, extreme dieting death. This is the ghost that we encountered in the cafeteria. It's not really the cafeteria. I can't think of its formal name, but it's where the students buy their food and such. So I just call it cafeteria. Young Mi was a senior high school student, and she had never been happy with her body. She was excited to become a university student, with only the entrance exam standing in her way, but regretted that she wouldn't get to have any campus romance with her kind of body. So she would always say that she was on a diet. The strange thing was that she didn't look overweight to others. The people around her would tease her that she should actually gain a few pounds. Still, young Mi doubted their words. Um, Young Mi doubted their words, sorry. When she looked in the mirror at the back of the classroom, she only saw an overweight girl. Look at what a pig I am. How could they call me thin? How could they say I could gain a few pounds? The only conclusion that young Mi could come to was that they were being sarcastic. Just you wait. I will become thin. I'll not eat anything until I am thin. From that day, young Mi didn't eat anything and would only drink water. She became thinner by the day until it was uh, till, uh, until it was to the point where she was just skin and bones. She barely had the energy to even move, but she continued her refusal to eat. When she was forced to eat, even just a little, she would run straight to the bathroom and throw up. She had lost so much weight that watching her walk around the school was a creepy sight. Her friends and teachers, who at first had been worried, began to avoid her. Then one day, a new boy transferred to her class. Wanting to make quick friends, he treated the whole class to pizza and burgers. With the teacher's permission, they served the food in the classroom and held a party. Everyone was able to enjoy the food while relaxing and letting go of their stress of preparing for the college entrance exam. The transfer student spotted young Mi sitting by herself by the window. Even in the celebratory mood, she was not eating. The thought never occurred to him that she was on a diet. He just figured that she didn't get her share yet. So he brought her one of the remaining burgers and a soda. No, I'm not eating. I won't eat anything. I'm still fat in the mirror, can't you see? Yummy stood up and shouted with rage as she pointed at the mirror at the back of the classroom. Suddenly, the classroom went quiet. Her face was contorted with anger, and her eyes gleamed with insanity. Yummy started snickering and looked around her. All the kids' eyes were locked on her in fear. To her, it seemed like they were all staring with eyes filled with disdain. Yummy stormed out of the classroom screaming. Nobody moved to stop her. In the end, she was found dead in the mountain nearby, having starved to death. Her classmates tried to figure out what Yummy meant with her last words. What did she mean by the mirror? We don't have a mirror in our classroom. So, one thing that's really, I mean, it's common, I think, almost anywhere you'll find this kind of thing, but it's one of the stereotypes that has some, most stereotypes have a basis, a kernel of truth behind them, right? And in Eastern cultures, a lot of times weight is a major thing when it comes to what's the term I'm trying to think of? Like it's really people are really body shamed when it comes to weight in many of those cultures. And it's not to say that that doesn't happen all over the world. I think it does, but it's done to such an extreme that you get things like this, which is why weight is a common theme in these stories. If you go to like the student that the heavy set student, the attendance ghost, that was a common thing that was popping up in hers, and now here we're seeing the other extreme side of it. They would tease the other one for being heavy, and then this one has body dysmorphic disorder. She's suffering from bulimia and anorexia, essentially, because of that. So, and I, like I said, it's a stereotype, of course. It's not like it's always going to hold true, but like I said, stereotypes tend to come from a kernel of truth in many cases. And it's one of those things that like it's still to this day, um, despite the amount of oh, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think it's becoming a little bit less common that people do it nowadays because people are starting to kind of they're trying to look at body positivity and look at things in a different light because some people, myself included, it's like it's really hard for me to take off weight. And I come from ancestry that's really short and stocky in that sense, and I tend to put on a lot of body weight in my core, especially at my core. So it's like I overheat real easily, and it's like my arms and legs, are much thinner than like the core of my body as far as weight gain for me. And not that it's not accumulating there as well, just not nearly as quickly, not nearly as obviously as obvious. So that's one of those things that's starting to kind of fade out a little bit, but you still hear a lot of body shaming. I think around, just in general, which is really sad. Okay, but if you notice, that has been a common theme in some of these stories, and it's a common theme in a lot of horror stories in general. Like I said, that come from out of Eastern culture. So the lockbox we're looking for over in the music appreciation room. This is where we ran into the burned face girl, and it is her story. So this is the one where I got the code from. Um, oh, which code was it? Oh, this is the metronome one. Okay, never mind. Where did I put my metronome code? Okay, sorry about that. Took me a while to figure out where I put the code. This goes back to the metronome from main building 2. So the code I had was 2568. So let's see if I did that right. 2568. Okay, and like I said, I don't know if this is random or not. It was the same code I had last time, so if anybody wants to test that and drop it in the comments for me, that would be great. Number 9, Lost Face. I haven't been saying the number that I've collected so far because I'm kind of losing touch with that because I'm still working on previous episodes as far as editing goes. So my apologies on that, but this should be like number 19 of 20, I do believe, at this point for us. Yoon Ah was a popular girl. Not only was she pretty, she was musically talented as well, winning many awards since she was young. Everyone loved her, as often happens in these cases, everyone wanted to be friends with her, and she became egotistical. In contrast, Misuk was hardly known by anyone in school. She thought she was ugly, that caused her to have self-confidence issues, and this kind of goes back to what I was just talking about, making her timid and introverted. Due to due of this, there should be due to this, right? Due of this, that's interesting. Due of this, she had no friends to speak of. Even her classmates hardly acknowledged her existence. One day, Un-Ah was walking in the hallway while noisily chatting with her friends. Misuk, focused on cleaning, didn't realize anyone was there until Un-Ah ran into her. Misuk stumbled and dropped the mop bucket she was carrying, spilling dirty water all over the hallway. Un-Ah never said sorry. She barely spread a glance at Misuk and walked away silently. Angered, Misuk went after her and demanded an apology. Instead, she was mocked. What are you blubbering about? You're as ugly and dirty as that mop water, haha. The other kids snickered in agreement with Una's cruel remark. Misuk's face turned red with embarrassment and anger. From that day on, she was an easy target for bullying. This is another common thing, especially, I don't know what this is like in Eastern culture, but for U.S. culture, bullying is so bad. I mean, I grew up with so much crap like that happening to me, and I hear about it from just everybody. that I shouldn't say everybody. I hear from a lot of people. But man, like that's one thing I could not stand about high school. Um, sorry, moving on. Every time she walked by, everyone would mock her without caring if she could hear. As time passed on, her resentment towards Una grew to hatred for Una. She decided that she would get revenge on Una for what she had started. How pretty does she think she is? Does she think that beauty lasts forever? We'll see about that. One day, Una was chatting away with her friends in the music appreciation room. Misuk quietly approached them, and, as usual, the kids began mocking her. No one paid attention to the bottle she was carrying in her hand. Misuk took the cap off the sulfuric acid she brought and threw it at Una's face. Una's screams of pain filled up the room and echoed through the halls. The kids around her scrambled away in horror. Not one soul stayed behind to help Una. Una pleaded for help as she screamed in agony, but Misuk just smiled cruelly and watched her beg. And I have to say, having had acid and base burns in my life, even small ones, that hurts pretty dang bad, or can hurt pretty dang bad. And they leave long-lasting marks that do not heal. Una's pretty face was eaten away by the acid. She was fortunate to have survived the attack, but it left her with a hideous scar covering half her face. There was no trace of her former beauty to be found. After that incident, she would not go to school, refusing to even come out of her house. She broke all the mirrors inside, and her disfigured eyes, being sensitive to light, caused her to keep the house entirely dark. Her depression became so deep that one day it drove her to leap from the roof of her house. They said that it was hard to identify her body because she struck the ground face first, completely destroying what had remained. Since her death, there are rumors of sightings of Una's ghost in the music appreciation room. It is said her ghost always has her back turned, and that you'll die if you ever see her face. And that's the one, like I said, she's in this room. She was sitting down when we first walked in, and then she starts singing that "Ready or Not, Here I Come," and you have to have the yin yang token to repel her. Okay, so one more. We have the chairman's office, the code for the chairman's office, which is right here, and this is probably one of my favorite stories. Okay, let me get to my code here. Where did I put you? Okay, so the number we had was a 4. Again, I can't remember if these change. I didn't have anything written down for this one. I just put an upside down power button. This one looks like figures, so it should be a plane. And the last one was kind of a Y shape with an underscore. Like that. Yeah, there we go. I don't know what that actual symbol is, so sorry. Number 2, and 20 out of 20 for our list, the Impassable Bridge. Although it was early in the morning, the whole school was filled with an uneasy buzz. Chill Min, a student, was found unconscious in the hallway. This particular hallway was the passageway between the main building and the new building, and it was rarely used. It was built with an interesting design that puzzled all those who set eyes on it. Its purpose was to be a bridge that connected one building to another, but it was shaped like a tunnel with fluorescent lighting, but not one window. This made it seem creepy even during the daytime. What's more, getting to the other building wasn't a straight path, but instead twisted and turned. All of that combined made fewer and fewer students use the walkway. And the less people used it, the more creepy the rumors about it became. One rumor said that while walking down the passageway, which felt like walking into a cave, there were sounds of footsteps either behind you or coming from the front. Either way, you'd never see anyone there. Another rumor said that if you enter this hallway in the middle of night, you will never get to the other building, but instead get lost in the labyrinth of corridors until the break of dawn. The night before the accident took place, Chill Min told his friends that he didn't believe in such a bogus story. Being teenagers, they dared Chill Min to prove himself. Chill Min and his friends came to school in the middle of the night. The test Chill Min was given seemed simple. He only had to go through the passageway, get to the other building, and bring back an object from a classroom. Chill Min wasted no time beginning this easy venture and quickly opened the door to the passageway. He disappeared into the darkness, and the door shut behind him. When Chill Min was alone, he realized it was scarier than he had imagined. The passageway was without a single window, and all he could see were the small patches of light, like islands, in a pitch-black sea. Chill Min shivered and began to regret making this bet with his friends. When the sound of his footsteps echoed loudly in the empty hallway, it felt like something from the darkness would come running out at him at any second. Chill Min gathered together what courage he had left and started walking as fast as he could. That's when something passed him and lightly brushed his neck, making a metallic sound. His hair stood on end. He felt like something was right behind him. Was he hearing things? He thought he also heard faint laughter. Chill Min, clenching his teeth, bravely turned around. Nothing was there except a completely empty hallway and darkness. Chill Min, who had been scared to death, was a bit relieved, until right at the moment he heard a whisper. "What are you doing here?" Terrified, Chill Min ran as fast as he could, screaming. It didn't matter how fast or how far he ran, he would never be able to make it to the building on the other side. At last, Chill Min suffered a panic attack and was knocked into unconsciousness. His friends, after waiting for a long time, all returned home. Everyone was worried for Chill Min, yet no one suggested going to look for him. So that's how Chill Min was found, laying unconscious in the passageway the next day. From that day on, the students have called this passageway the Impassable Bridge, or the Labyrinth. That is probably one of my favorite stories. I always thought this one was really creepy. And of course, if you haven't really been following on to the cues here, this is the fox spirit, or the invisible voice, from the bridge that they're talking about. The Impassable Bridge is what we just crossed. Without the bell charm, that's when, if you try to go back, that's where we saw had that encounter with her. And again, hers is kind of a weird one because she's not, as far as I know, she seems completely benign. Like she's almost, I mean, she's benign to your character, of course. The only thing she does is wind you. That's what you need to get her encounter. But she didn't kill this one either. And how many of these stories have we gone through where the person wasn't killed in the end? Or one of the people wasn't killed in the end? So kind of a unique ghost in that sense. And I know some people were kind of disappointed or said that she was boring because she didn't do anything to you. But to me, I thought she was terrifying, and I kind of loved it. Plus, I love the fact that that she has a tail. I think that's really cool in her depiction. So once I picked up that document, and if you are following along with me, you should get the trophy Occult Club President, which is to collect all the ghost stories of Yondu High School. And you should also get Voice of a Ghost for completing the ghost collection, since we already did the ghost encounters in the previous episode. Now, there is one other thing that we could do at this point. We're not quite done with the ghosts entirely because we still have to encounter the haunted head 30 times, and I don't know exactly where our count's at. I think we're beyond the halfway point. because we've run into her quite a few times in the past few episodes. So we could kind of go for that encounter. All right, that was it. That was that was the trophy pop one. Um, I have been sitting here, not like at the game, but I've been sitting here for I want to say almost 3 hours for that. Had to have been maybe a dozen encounters. I was kind of estimating 15 to 20 minutes of dead time between her popping up. So just to kind of give an idea. But the trophy is faint to low. The description is she approaches from afar, and the requirement is just encountering the haunted head ghost 30 times. And so I will do a tally to figure out where I've encountered her throughout the game to see how many times that actually was. But I'm kind of working behind on that right now, so we'll get there eventually. But I thought I'd just let the game run and farm that up since we are going to be going towards the end game stuff next, and kind of get that out of the way at this point. I do believe this does stack across playthroughs, so when we go on to do Song Oz route, that probably would work towards this just as well. But I've not tested that myself, so if you've done it, confirmed it, drop it in the comments. That'd be great to know. Otherwise, that's it. We got it. And that is a good place to end this episode. To recap, we have officially completed the Ghost Collection. We went back to main building 1 and main building 2 to get all of the miscellaneous items and ghost stories that we were missing from those locations, all the solutions to the puzzles, all the way back towards new building. And we already had the ghost encounters from the previous episode, but now we have all the ghost stories on top of that as well. So we are officially finished, officially completed, have completed, are finished with that aspect of the game. And if you go down to collection list and go to Ghost Collection, you can go through this, and the text gets a little wonky at times. Let me just change the screen, and it'll fix itself. But anyways, here you can see the Ghost Collection, and if you go to the first one, so it has them numbered 1 through 20. You can see the name of the story and the story itself to read it, which is really cool. They got some artwork for the ghosts, which I also think is really cool, and you know the artwork is quite amazing if you ask me. So, and I haven't really decided yet, but I was thinking maybe of doing an episode before we finish of just going over the Ghost Collection now that we have the whole thing. But we'll see. I want to see if there's any interest in that first. But I think that's pretty cool. Next time, I was planning to move ahead towards the lecture hall auditorium area, which is where So Young ran off the last time we saw her. We have broken the barrier and have access to that area now. Um, and like I said, I might do a ghost collection episode. I haven't really decided yet, but we'll see. And with that being said, let's close things out for the night. Thank you all for joining, and I will see you all later.